What's up guys, welcome to the Code Patch. My name is Nick and this is your 11th C++ programming tutorial. So we're really moving, right? So in the previous tutorials we explained for, we explained while loops, and we'll just stop there for now with loops. And what we're going to learn in this video is a switch case. Now switch case is a fun function, so it's basically a function that chooses some values, and if it's one of those values, it's going to do something. So the switch case can be made as ifs, as a bunch of ifs, but for our code to look nicer, we use switch case. So let me just show you how it works. So let's say we want to input some value, right? So we have some value, we want our user to input a value, right? And then we want to, based on that value, we want to do something with it. So let's say input. So let's make a menu, all right? Let's make a menu and spice it a little bit, all right? So let's say plus or 1 is plus, all right? Now let's make an end line and say cout 2 is minus, right? So I'll explain you what I'm doing, just bear with me. So let's say 3 is multiplying, right? So, and cout, let's say 4 is, I don't know, dividing, right? And just end line here. All right, so I wrote this menu, and we're going to say cout input an operation that you want. So now we're going to ask for our user to input any of these values, and for example, if he inputs 1, it's going to add 2 values. So if he inputs 2, it's going to give us a minus. If he inputs 3, it's going to multiply. So let's just now ask him first for a value, enter 2 values, alright, and first is going to be value 1 and second is going to be value 2. So let's just make value 1 and value 2, right? So now he inputs 2 values, alright, and now we need another variable called, for example, case, or no, case is a reserved word, so let's just make, I don't know, whatever, right? Let's just say x, right? X. And now we say here sin x. So what are we doing here? All right, so we ask for our user to input 2 values. All right, so he inputs values into value 1 and another value into the value 2. So now when we print out our menu and ask for an operation, he will input something and we will put that into x. So x can be 1, 2, 3, or 4, all right? So let's now make a switch case, right? So let me just delete this, we don't need this. Now we make a switch case, so the keyword is switch, and then you put what you want to check. So in this example, we want to check what's inside this x. So let's just print x, or not there, here. So we say switch x, and then we open the 2 curly brackets, and here we say case 1. So let me just write this out, then I'll explain it what it means. So let's just, if it's 1, print out, or first value, let me just make another variable, alright? So we need another value that says I don't know, let's name it a, and we're going to put into the a the value of this operation. So we're going to say value 1 plus value 2. Alright, and we're going to put a break here. Now, case 2 will be A is value 1 minus value 2. And we're going to add a break again. So case 3 will be A is value 1 times value 2. Alright, and a break. Alright, break. And case 4 going to be A value 1 divided by value 2, and a break. And now we're going to say default is cout error. Alright, okay, so what's happening here? Let me just compile this. Alright, we have an error here. Alright, it's here, semicolon, okay. And alright, it compiles. Now, what are we doing here? So, our user enters two values, alright, and then he enters a number of which operation he wants to be done. So, if he wants to be plus to be done, he enters 1. If he wants minus, he enters 2. If he wants multiplying, he enters 3, and so on. So he puts that input into an X, alright? So we put whatever he puts into an X, and then we say switch of that X, alright? And then we put these cases. So case 1 basically means if X is 1. So we're checking if this X is 1. So if in case of 1 showing up in this X, we're going to say A is value 1 plus value 2. So we basically add them if it's 1. Then we have a break. Now what this break means, it's when he's done with this operation, we don't want any of these other cases to be checked. So we say break, and this break, what it does is basically leaves this switch. So it just goes out of its body. So when you type a break, it basically goes from here to here. It basically jumps from here to here, and that does not check other values. So that's why we need a break after every case, all right? And so if he enters 2, then case 2, if 2 shows up in this X, God, I can't talk today. So if this 2 shows up in this X to X, is going to subtract these two values, and so on. And default means if it's not any of these 4 cases, then default should be an error. And why do we say error? Well, because our user was smart and didn't input any of these values. So for example, he inputted, I don't know, 5, all right, and then when it's 5, it goes to this default and it prints out error, all right. Now let's just compile and run this, all right. So we enter two values. First will be, for example, 5, another will be 4. And now we want to choose what operation we want. For example, I want a plus, all right, so I say 1. Now it didn't print out anything, and that's just because we didn't say cout, or we don't need to do this here, we can just do it after the case. So just say cout A, alright. So let's just make a message, result is A, alright. So it goes into switch, it gives A some value, and then after the switch in A is that value that your user chose. So let me show you. For example, now we enter two values, for example 5 and 4, and we want to subtract them. We select 2, right? So let's select 2 and result is 1. So let's now try some other, for example 20, alright, and I don't know, let's say 4. And now we want to choose the operation. Let's choose division, right? So we say 4 and it's going to give us a 5. So that is a switch case, and we usually use switch cases for menus like this. So to make a menu and make our user choose what he wants to do. Alright, so that's it for this tutorial. I hope you guys learned something, and I hope you guys understood me. So we're really moving now onto the actual programming. So I hope you guys can follow me, and I hope I'm not going too fast, and I hope I'm not going too slow. So just tell me in the comments what you think. And yeah, that's it for this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next, and thank you so much for watching.